Hi, welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well, let's learn English together. Hello, people. Hello. How are you all? Is everything going well? Are you having fun? Have you started your Christmas shopping? Have you finished your Christmas shopping? And no, don't ask me. I'm nowhere near to being ready. This year, as usual, I think my Christmas shopping is going to be chaotic and full of tension. Just like the Benchfield's shopping saga. The farmer is feeding the geese more so that they put on weight, so that they get fatter, so that the farmer can sell the geese for more money at the market. People buy fat geese, not skinny geese. So, that means one thing, doesn't it? Yes, that means that we know that Christmas is coming and it's approaching fast. And that means that we need to start being all Christmassy in our lessons. There's only, 7 or 8 days, depending on whether we're celebrating Christmas in Hungary or in the UK in Great Britain. If we're celebrating in Hungary, which we are, we're talking about Christmas being 7 days away, on the 24th of December. If we're talking about celebrating Christmas in the UK, then we've got an extra day. There, people celebrate Christmas on the 25th of December. Remember? So, let's see how far we get. First, some vocabulary from a few lessons ago, and then it's time to start the Christmas season. So, first things first, let's all have a butcher's at the vocabulary I'm talking about. Oh, but hang on, there's another word that we've seen before, but I don't think we ever talked about it. Butchers. Now, we all know what a butcher is, don't we? Yes. When we're talking about butchers, then we know that we're talking about meat, don't we? Yes. Now, think about meat. Yes, that's meat. It's all red meat, I know. But we also know what white meat looks like too, don't we? Of course. White meat is things like poultry, chicken and turkey, and also pork and fish. All of these count as white meat. Okay, but here's the question. How do we get meat? Yes, that's right. We have to kill an animal to get meat, don't we? Yes. And when we talk about killing animals, then we normally use a different verb. We don't usually say that we kill an animal, especially if we're killing that animal for food. The verb we normally use is the verb to slaughter. Now, this is an okay word to use with animals. It's the normal verb that we use when we're talking about killing animals for food. And the other words connected to the idea of killing animals for food also have obvious connections to this verb. The place where animals are killed is an abattoir to the British, or alternatively, a slaughterhouse. The person who does the job is a slaughterman. Now, we sometimes hear the verb slaughter used with animals in a slightly different way. Sometimes we also hear the verb being used to talk about killing people. In cases like these, if we're using the verb to slaughter with animals but not for food, or with people, with humans, it's slightly different. In that case, if I, for example, talk about slaughtering people, then the idea is that these people were killed or are being killed in a horrible way, normally in large numbers. We often hear on the news about unarmed civilians being slaughtered in countries where there's a war taking place, for example. So, the basic rule is this. Use slaughter when we're talking about animals being killed for food. That's it. If slaughter is used to talk about other things, like killing people or killing animals in large numbers, but not for food, then it's not a very positive verb. Still, I suppose that if we ask the sheep, cows, goats, chickens and other animals how they feel about it, they've probably got a different opinion anyway. All right, so we need to get back to the butcher. Now, as we've just learned, the man who kills the animals is the slaughterman. That man who works in the abattoir, he's the slaughterman. Now, in the abattoir, the animals are killed and their bodies are cut into pieces, big pieces. And then the meat is ready to go to the butcher. And did you notice that change? When the animal dies, it becomes meat. It's a cow, and then when the slaughterman kills the cow, then it becomes beef. A sheep becomes mutton, and so on, like this. Calf, veal. Cow, beef. Lamb, lamb. Sheep, mutton. Pig, pork. Pig, bacon. Chicken, chicken. Turkey, turkey. Goose, goose. Duck, duck. Now, can you see anything strange about that list? Yes, that's right. Most of the names of the meat we get from animals are different from the names we use for the animals, but some of them are the same. We get lamb from a lamb. We get chicken from chickens, duck from ducks, goose from geese, and turkey from turkeys. Also, pigs provide us with two types of meat. They give us pork, and they also give us bacon. Now, I don't really understand this, but I had a look in my cookery book. It's a pretty old book. It's from 1966. But have a look at the bit which talks about pigs. So, I'm slightly confused, but that's okay. Now, where were we? Yes, the butcher. The slaughterman, or men, cut the meat into big pieces, and this meat is then delivered to the butcher. The butcher also cuts meat, but the butcher's work is more precise. The butcher takes a big piece of meat and cuts it into different cuts of meat. So, for example, he takes a big piece of dead cow and cuts it into different steaks or some other cuts of meat. That's the difference. The slaughterman kills or slaughters the animals and then cuts them into big pieces. And then the big pieces of meat go to the butchers. Then the butcher cuts the big pieces of meat into smaller pieces. Pieces which we buy, take home and cook and eat. The butcher is the man you ask about meat. You don't meet the slaughterman. You get your meat from the butcher's shop, not from the slaughterman, not from the abattoir. And so, now, finally, we get to the vocabulary. What did I say at the start of the lesson? Yes, that's right. I said, let's have a butcher's. And what does it mean? It's slang. It means let's have a look. Butcher's is rhyming slang for butcher's hook, and hook rhymes with look. It's too long to say let's have a butcher's hook, so the British abbreviate the phrase. We remove the only logical rhyming part, and so butcher's becomes a slang synonym for look. Let's have a butcher's. Give me a butcher's. That's all it means. It's short for butcher's hook, and it means a look. That's all. Nothing more. So, now that we know that, let's have a butcher's at something else. Well, let's think. Christmas is coming, but it's probably a better idea for us to look at some of the vocabulary that I wanted us to look at. And then, tomorrow, we can start the English Christmas extravaganza properly with a Christmas song. What do you say? Now, one thing we need to look at is the word misleading. This word means that something has made you think the wrong thing. If we look at the verb to mislead, that verb means to give someone the wrong information so that they believe something which is wrong. Perhaps this is done deliberately. I know what I'm doing and I know that I am giving you false information. But perhaps I'm misleading you by accident. My information is wrong, but I don't know that my information is wrong. Now, the interesting thing about the verb to mislead and the adjective misleading is the fact that we make the word using a prefix. Do you remember what a prefix is? We learned about prefixes a long time ago. A prefix is something we place before another word, something we put in front of another word to alter, change or modify its meaning. Ages ago, we looked at the prefix anti. This prefix anti means against, and so if we put the prefix anti in front of another word, if we attach it to the front of another word, then we can change, we can alter, we can modify the meaning of the word. We have medicines, for example, which are anti-malarial medicines. These medicines work against malaria. We also have antibiotics, antiseptic, and anti-inflammatory. All of these things are used by doctors. They use antibiotics to fight infections. If something is antiseptic, it's free of disease. And if your doctor gives you an anti-inflammatory cream, it's a cream which works against inflammation. Inflammation is when part of your body becomes hot, red and swollen. When part of your body becomes bigger than usual, bigger than normal. Look at this man's legs. One of his knees is inflamed. There is inflammation around one of his knees. His left knee is swollen. Maybe he hurt it when he was exercising, and now his knee has swollen up. There is some swelling around his left knee. His knee is inflamed. There is some inflammation around his left knee. His doctor will probably give him some anti-inflammatory medicine, maybe a cream or some pills to reduce the swelling, to make the inflammation go away. So to help the man's body fight against the inflammation, the doctor will prescribe some anti-inflammatory medicine. And in the same way, the prefix mis is put at the front of a word to mean wrongly. Misdiagnose, for example. The doctor gets it wrong. He says that you've got a swollen knee, but you've got a broken nose. The doctor misdiagnosed your problem. Mismanage. The company director spends all the company's money at the casino. He mismanaged the money. He used the company's money badly. And misleading. Information which is misleading leads you in the wrong direction. It gives you the wrong idea. The geese are getting fat, but it's not because they're eating more pizza than usual. It's because the farmer is fattening them up. And on that note, talking about fat geese, it's time for us to go. Yes, the lesson has come to an end, and it's time for us to go home, have a quick shower, and then rush out into the city to get some Christmas shopping done. So, I'll see you all tomorrow, and we'll start with a Christmas song. Not a carol this time. We might have time for a Christmas carol later this week. You remember what Christmas carols are, don't you? You know, a special song that people sing at Christmas. Last year, we looked at the Christmas carol, The 12 Days of Christmas. But tomorrow, we're going to look at something else. All right, have fun, have fun, have fun, and don't get stressed in the shops. I'll see you all later. And if you need to relax with some English, always remember www.mediaclick.hu. See you later. Bye.